"You're not invited to the wedding," my sister messaged. "It's for people who actually matter." My mom reacted with hearts. I replied, "Then you'll be fine without my help." They kept mocking me in the group chat, but by morning their cards were locked and it was just the beginning. It started with a text. One sentence, no warning, no lead up. "You're not invited to the wedding. It's for people who actually matter." That came from my sister Lilu. A second later, a heart emoji appeared under her message. From my mother. I stared at the group chat for a full minute thinking maybe it was a joke. We didn't always get along, sure, but I was the one who bailed Lilu out of her debt 3 separate times. I was the one who loaned her half the down payment for her car. I even co-signed her first apartment lease because she couldn't get approved on her own. Now she was getting married to some guy she'd only known for 8 months, and she had the nerve to tell me I didn't matter. I replied just once. "Then you'll be fine without my help." No one responded for a while, so I closed the chat and went about my night. But the next morning when I checked again, the messages were pouring in. Not to me. About me. They were laughing in the group chat. My sister, my mother, one of Lilu's bridesmaids, and even my cousin Jared, who still owed me $300. Screenshot after screenshot of my old texts offering help. They called me desperate, bitter, petty. One of them said I was obsessed with being needed. I didn't say anything. I just opened my laptop and logged into something they'd all forgotten I had access to. See, I'm not just the boring older sister. I'm the one who set up Lilu's wedding website, RSVPs, linked vendors, and all the payment portals. She'd begged me to help because it was too much work, and you're just better at tech stuff. And I did. I set everything up with my email and my billing info. I'd already paid the deposit on the venue, the florist, the caterer. Everything ran through me. So that morning I started locking things. First I canceled the vendor cards. Not the payments, just the cards. Every scheduled transaction bounced immediately. Then I changed the login passwords. Not maliciously. I wasn't going to delete anything. But they wanted me gone. Fine. I was gone. I waited. 10 minutes. Then 15. Right on cue my phone started ringing. I let it go to voicemail. They tried everything. Guilt. Rage. Voice messages where they acted shocked and heartbroken. Then it turned into threats. Lilu said she'd sue me. My mother said I was destroying her only daughter's happiness. My cousin said I was overreacting and taking things too far. I didn't respond. But I knew that wasn't the end. They still didn't realize what I'd actually done. Because canceling the cards? That was just step 1. By that evening they were at my door. Not just calls, not texts, they showed up. My sister was in full meltdown mode. No makeup, hair a mess, wearing sweatpants and a hoodie I'd bought her last Christmas. My mom was right behind her, arms crossed like she was about to scold a child. I didn't open the door right away. I watched them through the peephole while they knocked and yelled like it was my fault this was happening. Eventually I opened it, but just enough to speak. Lilu went off. She screamed that I was sabotaging her wedding, ruining her life, being vindictive over a misunderstanding. My mom backed her up, saying I was acting irrationally and punishing the family over nothing. Nothing? I reminded them of Lilu's text, the one where she said I didn't matter, and my mom's heart emoji. No one denied it. My mom just rolled her eyes and muttered something about me, taking everything personally. Lilu said she only sent that because she was under stress, and thought I'd try to control her wedding. I asked if she still thought I didn't matter. She didn't answer. Just kept saying she needed me to fix what I'd broken. That vendors were backing out, invoices were unpaid, her planner was panicking. The venue had already emailed her that their final payment was overdue and their booking was now at risk of being canceled. Then she finally admitted it. They never had the money to pay for any of it. Not even half. They'd assumed I would cover the major costs and that they'd reimburse me eventually. Apparently, my mom co-signed a separate loan behind my back, using my name as a guarantor on one of the forms. I stepped outside and shut the door behind me. I didn't want them screaming in my home. I told them I'd be contacting a lawyer about the signature fraud. That's when everything snapped. My mom started shouting that I was turning on my own blood. Lilu cried and said I was jealous that she was getting married before me. Then, out of nowhere, my mom slapped me. Right there on my porch. The moment it happened, everything clicked. I wasn't the villain here. I wasn't overreacting. I was the only one who had been holding this family together. Quietly. For years. I told them to leave. Not just my porch. My life. They didn't go quietly. There was yelling, threats, my neighbor even came out to check what was going on. But I didn't back down. I went back inside, locked the door, and started documenting everything. Screenshots, emails, bank statements, even the forged loan application my mom apparently signed for me. But there was still one person I hadn't told anything to yet. My dad. He and my mom split years ago, and while he mostly stayed out of family drama, he always had my back. I wasn't sure what he'd say when he heard what happened. But I knew it was time to find out. What I didn't expect was that he already knew something was going on. And he'd been waiting for me to call. I called my dad that same night. I didn't even plan what I was going to say. I just hit his contact and waited. He picked up before the second ring and said, "I was wondering when you'd call me." I froze for a second. I hadn't said a word yet. He said he'd been getting messages from my mom all day, half rage, half panic. At first he thought it was just more of their usual chaos, but when she mentioned I was trying to ruin Lilu's wedding, he knew something was off. He told me to start from the beginning, so I did. I told him about the text, the group chat, the mocking, the uninvitation, the payments, the forged document, the slap. I expected him to tell me to calm down or try to smooth things over like he sometimes did when we were younger. But he didn't. He said, "You've done enough for them. More than enough. Way more than they deserved." Then he said something that caught me off guard. They tried to pull the same thing on me. Apparently, a month ago, Lilu had asked him for money for small extras for the wedding. Said it was just for flowers and tips for the staff. My dad agreed to give a little, $2,000 max. But when the vendor coordinator sent over a confirmation to him, it listed a full venue balance of over $14,000. My dad backed out immediately and told them to never send him fake documents again. So they went back to their backup plan. Me. But this time it wasn't just manipulation. It was fraud. Using my name on that loan was a whole new level. My dad asked if I'd spoken to a lawyer yet. I told him I had one in mind. He told me to get everything together and he'd cover the legal fees if I needed it. Then he said something else. They think I'm still sending money for the wedding next week. I never canceled it. I wanted to see how far they'd go. I asked if he was still planning to send it. He laughed. Not a chance. But I want to be there when they find out. 2 days later, I met him at a coffee shop halfway between our houses. I brought a folder with all the documents. He brought something I hadn't expected. An old manila envelope with records from back when Lilu was in college. Unpaid loans. Bailout checks. Car insurance he paid under her name. Even an old security deposit refund that had been sent to me by mistake. And I'd passed it on to Lilu without blinking. "They've used you for years," he said. "And I let it happen because I thought they'd grow out of it. But they've only gotten worse." Then he looked me in the eye and asked something simple. "What do you want to do now?" And I told him. Everything. Not just about the money or the wedding or the forged documents. I told him about how they made me feel invisible. How they laughed about me behind my back like I was a joke. How my own mother picked sides without hesitation. How I'd spent years thinking if I helped just a little more, they'd finally respect me. My dad listened. And when I finished, he nodded once and said, "Then let's burn it all down. Together." Neither of us knew just how fast it would unravel. But the next time they messaged him, he didn't answer. And when the wedding planner called him in a panic, begging for payment before the venue was released, he told her to call Lilu. That same night, Lilu showed up at his house. And he let her in. Just long enough to tell her the truth. Lilu showed up at my dad's place around 9 p.m. She must have assumed he was just playing hardball and that she could sweet-talk her way back into his wallet. My dad told me to stay inside while he talked to her, but I could hear them from the hallway. She wasn't sweet-talking. She was screaming. She said the venue had called to inform her the date was released. The caterer dropped them. The florist refused to rebook without full prepayment. The DJ had already taken another event. I stood at the edge of the hallway out of sight listening to every word. Lilu kept demanding to know why he stopped responding. She accused him of letting Karen manipulate everything, and said he was picking favorites. Then she said something that made my stomach drop. "We told everyone you were paying. Do you know how embarrassing this is going to be for me?" That was it. No apology. No acknowledgement of the forgery. No regret over the way they mocked me. Just me. My dad said calmly, "You can tell everyone your wedding is cancelled. Call whoever you want." Lilu didn't take it well. She stormed out, slamming the door so hard the picture frames shook. But before she left, she shouted something that made my blood run cold. "Fine. We'll figure it out without either of you. But don't come crawling back when this family falls apart. You made your choice. Hope it was worth it." We didn't respond. She got in her car and sped off. The next morning, the family group chat exploded again. This time I didn't even open it. I already knew the story. I could picture the chaos. Lilu blaming me, my mom doubling down, extended family chiming in, some offering sympathy, others backing off slowly now that the free wedding was gone. But here's the thing. What they didn't know was that I'd already spoken to the venue manager. Explained the whole situation. Forwarded screenshots of the messages and documents. They confirmed everything was in my name, and they were more than happy to write up a formal letter stating Lilu had no standing over the event without my written authorization. Which meant she couldn't sue, couldn't salvage the booking, couldn't even hold the reception in that venue if she paid in full. The entire reservation was legally mine, and now it was cancelled. Later that week I got a call from my cousin Jared. He sounded nervous, like he wasn't sure I'd pick up. He said he just wanted to check in, but I could hear the real reason under the fake concern. He asked if it was true I'd shut the wedding down, that they were saying I sabotaged everything out of spite. I told him flatly, I cancelled the things I paid for, removed my name from anything tied to their debt, and reported the fraudulent signature on the loan. The rest collapsed because it was built on lies. There was silence on the line. Then he said, "They're saying you're evil." I told him, "Then why are you still talking to me?" He didn't answer that. Just mumbled something about wanting to stay neutral. I hung up. I should have felt terrible. I should have felt some kind of guilt. But I didn't. Because I knew what was coming next. The family had always painted me as the reliable one, the fixer, the background support. The second I stepped out of the way, everything collapsed. And now they were calling extended family, begging for money, shifting stories, blaming each other. But no one wanted to get involved. Because the truth had started leaking. And it was only going to get worse. Within 3 days of the final cancellation, the tone shifted. Lilu went from rage to desperation. She sent me a voice message. Long, shaky, and clearly recorded while crying. She said she knew she messed up, that she was under stress, and that Mom made her send that text, because she didn't want to cause drama by inviting me. She said she didn't really mean it, that she always thought I'd come anyway, that she counted on me. I didn't reply. Then my mom tried. Sent a 4-paragraph message about how families go through phases, how things were said in the heat of planning, how she didn't realize I was taking it so seriously. Not once did she apologize. Not once did she mention the forged document, the group chat messages, the slap, or how she hearted the text that excluded me from the wedding. I didn't reply to that either. The thing is, Lilu didn't just lose the venue. She lost everything. The makeup artist pulled out when the second deposit failed. The bakery never confirmed the final design because they were waiting on payment. The dress place started calling me because the balance on her custom alterations had been authorized using my card on file back when she said she'd pay me back instantly. And the guests? They started getting emails from the registry platform I'd helped her set up. Emails I no longer controlled since she tried to change the passwords after all this started. But she forgot that I had put my email in the backup recovery. So when the system flagged suspicious activity, it sent the alert to me. And I locked that too. I didn't touch anything else. I didn't delete. I didn't sabotage. I just stopped holding everything up. That was enough. Lilu kept trying to fix things through people. Jared again. A different cousin. Even one of her college friends who I hadn't talked to in 6 years messaged me asking if we could just talk. I didn't respond. Then the final blow came. Their new plan was a backyard wedding. My mom offered to host it. Lilu would wear her original dress, even though the alterations were incomplete, and they'd cater it themselves. It was a joke, and everyone knew it. Only about a quarter of the original guests RSVP'd yes again. People were dropping out left and right. Some said they had other commitments. Others simply didn't reply. And then came the part no one expected. My dad. He sent an email to the entire extended family. Not a message, an actual email with an attachment, a single PDF. In the document he broke everything down. The financial manipulation, the fraudulent loan. Screenshots of the group chat with the mocking, the exclusion, the planning behind my back. Even the payments I'd made, the cancellations, and a statement from his lawyer confirming the forgery report. He ended it by saying, "I will not be attending the wedding. I stand with my daughter, who has shown nothing but loyalty and grace despite being treated like a bank account and a punching bag. This family needs to reckon with the truth before it demands forgiveness." It's like a bomb went off. That same night I got calls from 2 aunts. One apologized. One didn't know what to say. The next morning, Jared sent me $300 with no message. Another cousin texted saying you didn't deserve any of that. My uncle emailed to say he was pulling out of the wedding completely. And Lilu? He posted a story on Instagram. A black screen. One line of text. Fake people always show their true colors eventually. I guess she thought that was about me. But the truth is I hadn't become anything new. I just stopped being useful. And the second I stopped holding it all together, they realized how little they actually had. The new backyard wedding was scheduled for the upcoming Saturday. My mom's lawn wasn't nearly big enough to hold the original guest list, but that didn't matter anymore. Most people weren't coming. The caterer they managed to find was a guy who sold tacos from a truck at the farmer's market. And the DJ was my uncle's teenage son with a Bluetooth speaker. Lilu still posted like it was all going according to plan. Posed pictures of flower arrangements she didn't end up using. A dress photo that wasn't from her fitting. She even put up a countdown. And then she made one last attempt. Thursday night, 2 days before the wedding, she showed up at my apartment. Alone. No screaming this time. She looked tired. Like she hadn't slept in days. She asked if she could come in. I didn't say anything, I just stepped aside. She sat on the edge of the couch like she didn't want to get comfortable. Then she started talking. She said everything was falling apart. Their guest list dropped to under 30. The cake had to be cancelled because her fiancé accidentally overdrew the joint account. The backyard was muddy from unexpected rain, and the rentals they ordered for seating were suddenly unavailable due to a payment error. And then she said it. "Can you just help me one more time? Just this last thing. Then I'll never ask again." I didn't respond. He kept going. Said she didn't mean to cut me out. That she was angry. That mom was pushing her. That everything spiraled and she didn't know how to fix it. I asked her something I hadn't asked before. "Why didn't you just invite me? Why did you send that text?" She was quiet for a long time. Then she said, "Because you're always the one who makes everything work. And I didn't want everyone saying you saved my wedding too." That was it. That one sentence explained everything. It was never about me not mattering. It was about her needing me and hating that she needed me. So she cut me out, thinking that would make her look stronger. More independent. Like she had everything handled. But she didn't. I told her I wouldn't be helping her. Not this time. That I hoped she figured it out. But I wasn't going to clean up a mess she made out of pride. She nodded. Didn't argue. Just got up and walked out. That Saturday I didn't check social media. I didn't ask how it went. But the photos started circulating anyway. Blurry shots from the handful of people who still went. There was no tent. No decorations. Folding chairs on damp grass. Her dress was clearly unfinished. Pins still in the hem. The groom looked like he hadn't shaved in days. Someone commented that the bride's sister wasn't there. Someone else replied she wasn't invited. And that was that. My mom hasn't contacted me since. Lilu hasn't either. But my dad still calls me every week. We're closer now than we've been in years. The funny thing is, all those years I thought I was keeping the peace, I was just keeping them afloat. They weren't a family. They were a project. And I finally stopped working on it. Because here's the truth no one ever tells you. Sometimes you don't get closure. You get clarity. And that's more than enough.